Welcome back to Metals, Money, and Markets for the Friday, July 13th edition. For MiningClips, Rob Goodman, and as always, Mickey Fulp, the Mercenary Geologist. We'll make sense of these numbers. Okay, Mickey, pretty blood red day here for gold, up dollar. Equities markets participated. Let's break it down. Metals all across the board off.
Rob, the dollar was up all week, which meant that precious metals were down. Gold closed at 1241, down over 1%. Silver 1578, down almost 1.5%. Platinum down $15 to close at 827, and palladium lost $14 to close at 932. Trump is simply being disruptive of George Big Bush's New World Order, and we've seen that in metal prices.
Yeah, and copper trend the same, 5 weeks in a row.
Yep. Copper had another bad week, as you said. Really what happened this week was a Chinese equity fund, the last big long position, came in and exited all their longs on closure day, which would have been a couple of weeks ago. So with those exit of positions, we continue to see copper show weakness, close at 282 for a percent loss, 3% or 3 cents on the week. It remains in 7-month backwardation, but this has hit the entire base metal complex. Both zinc and lead closed at 12-month lows today. And even though the trade war, trade tariffs, whatever you want to call it, if we do the math, we just put tariffs on $200 billion of goods coming in from China. That amounts, let's assume a 10% tariff. That's $20 billion, Rob. That's 1/10 of 1% of U.S. GDP. So it's really a drop in the bucket.
And shifting gears over here into the energy markets, oil finally took a pretty big breather here.
Oil had very volatile 3 days. It essentially underwent a 6% correction on Wednesday. It gained some back from that, closed the day at 70.70, down 4% on the week. It's been about supply-demand balance, and with all this stuff, geopolitical stuff going on, it's just the longs take hold, and then the shorts come in, so it's an up and down market. Rigs were up +2 for the week, and that's 102 more rigs drilling in the U.S. than was last year. Production is really flattened out at 10.9 million barrels a day, but that's been going on for 5 weeks, and that is an all-time record. U.S. inventories down 5 million barrels, but really that was balanced by news from OPEC. Venezuela continues to suffer. Iran sanctions are taking hold, but that was really balanced out by Libya brought their production back on. So all in all, very volatile week for oil.
And we should mention uranium up a little bit here, 23.18.
Yeah, up 38 cents on a week, but it's still within the range it's been since the end of last year.
And moving on to the currency markets here, as mentioned, a pretty good week for the dollar, and of course the euro and loonie off.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, the precious metals downturn can be fully attributed to strength of the U.S. dollar. It closed at 94.71, up 0.7%, but it was above 95 overnight. Euro dropped to 117. A little less than that, 0.8% loss. And loonie basically treaded water at right at 76 cents.
And we're wrapping up these equities markets. They sure didn't have any troubles with this Trump talk. They all were in the black here this week.
Yeah, well, for good reason, I think. And we mentioned that reason. This trade tariff stuff is just a drop in the bucket. I mean, we're a service economy, so we would expect a little effect, really, to the general economy. We had another robust week with very good economic news on all fronts. NASDAQ closed at at all-time highs both yesterday and today. Other markets up really strongly on the week. The Dow closed at 25,019, up over 2%. S&P 500 closed at 2801. It's been quite a number of weeks since it's been above that 2800 level. As we mentioned, NASDAQ all-time record closed at 7876 for a 1.8% gain on the week.
And across the tracks, unfortunately, the Toronto Venture Exchange continues to slip.
Yeah, across the 49th parallel, whichever way you want to look at it, or the basically unguarded border without a fence, closed at 725, off 2% on the week. Volumes remain averaging less than 50 million shares a day. Apathy reigns. And this is not only another 52-week low, but this is a low since December of 2016 during tax loss season. So both of us will be at Sprott Conference in Vancouver next week. We'll be doing lots of videos, and it'll be really interesting to see what the mood is of the speculators, mainly high net worth investors at that conference.
Okay, Mickey, see you there, and we'll certainly keep our eye on that Putin-Trump on Monday. So have a great weekend. Appreciate the insight.
All right, thanks a lot, Rob.